I'm sure that from this lectern, any number of distinguished spiritual leaders have ruminated on the lessons of the Ten Commandments. I don't have that kind of confidence. And anyway, coveting your neighbor's ox or donkey is not the problem it used to be. So I thought I would use my few minutes today to make 10 suggestions, or maybe just 10 observations, about the world and your lives after Princeton. Please note these points have nothing to do with interest rates. My qualification for making such suggestions or observations, besides being kindly invited to speak here today by President Tillman, is the same reason that your obnoxious brother or sister got to go to bed later. I am older than you. All of what follows has been road-tested in real-life situations, but past performance is no guarantee of future results. Number one. The poet Robert Burns once said something about the best laid plans of mice and men ganging aft the gley, whatever a gley means. A more contemporary philosopher, Forrest Gump, said something similar about life and boxes of chocolate and not knowing what you're going to get. They were both right. Life is amazingly unpredictable. Any 22-year-old who thinks they know where they will be in 10 years, much less in 30, is simply lacking in imagination. Look what happened to me. A dozen years ago, I was minding my own business, teaching Economics 101 in Alexander Hall, and thinking of good excuses for avoiding faculty meetings. Then I got a phone call. In case you're skeptical of Forrest Gump's insight, here's a concrete suggestion for each of the graduating seniors. Take a few minutes the first chance you get and talk to an alum participating in their 25th or 30th or 40th reunion. You know, somebody who was near the front of the parade. Ask them back when they were graduating 25, 30, or 40 years ago where they expected to be today. If you can get them to open up, they'll tell you that today they are happy and satisfied in various measures, or not, and their personal stories will be filled with highs and lows and in-betweens. But I'm willing to bet those life stories will in almost all cases be quite different in large and small ways from what they expected when they started out those many years ago. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. Who wants to know the end of a story that's only in its early chapters? Don't be afraid to let the drama play out. The concept of success leads me to consider so-called meritocracies and their implications. We've been taught that meritocratic institutions and societies are fair. Putting aside the reality that no system, including our own, is really entirely meritocratic, meritocracies may be fairer and more efficient than some alternatives. But are they fair in an absolute sense? Think about it. A meritocracy is a system in which the people who are the luckiest in their health and genetic endowment, luckiest in terms of family support, encouragement, and probably income, luckiest in their educational and career opportunities, and luckiest in so many other ways difficult to enumerate, those are the folks who reap the largest rewards. The only way for even a putative meritocracy to hope to pass ethical muster, to be considered fair, is if those who are the luckiest in all of those respects also have the greatest responsibility to work hard, to contribute to the betterment of the world, and to share their luck with others. As the Gospel of Luke says, and I'm sure my rabbi will forgive me for quoting the New Testament in a good cause, from everyone to whom much has been given, much will be required, and from the one to whom much has been entrusted, even more will be demanded. I'm not going to tell you that money doesn't matter, because you wouldn't believe me anyway. In fact, for too many people around the world, money is literally a life or death proposition. But if you're part of the lucky minority with the ability to choose, remember that money is a means and not an end. A career decision based only on money and not on love of the work or desire to make a difference is a recipe for unhappiness. I spoke earlier about definitions of personal success in an unpredictable world. I hope that as you develop your own definition of success, as you will be able to do so, I hope that you'll be able to do it with a close companion on your journey. In making that choice, remember that physical beauty is evolution's way of assuring us that the other person doesn't have too many intestinal parasites. Now, don't get me wrong. I am all for beauty, romance, and sexual attraction. Where would Hollywood and Madison Avenue be without them? But while important, those are not the only things to look for in a partner. The two of you will have a long trip together, I hope, and you'll need each other's support and sympathy more times than you can count. Speaking as somebody who's been happily married for 35 years, I can't imagine any choice as consequential for a lifelong journey than a choice of traveling companion.